Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate the awesome introduction. And I'm really excited to be with all of you today for our first virtual Mastermind Collegium. Now, it says special edition for a reason. It's a special edition because it's a little bit different than what we normally do in this Innovation Incubator presentation. I normally am sharing an abundance of different programs and things that we're doing at C2P, but today I decided to keep it laser focused. Today we decided we're going to keep it laser focused on hunting in a virtual environment. Hunting in a virtual environment because nothing's more important. Now, what is this? What's hunting in a virtual environment? It's marketing and selling. You have to market, you have to find the prospect, you have to sell, you have to kill the prospect. Close the prospect. Close the prospect. Don't kill your prospect. You're not going to have any clients if you kill your prospects. So, by the end of this presentation, you're going to know the 3 simple steps that you can follow, that my office has followed, that C2P has created, that many other offices are following to hunt in a virtual environment. All the tools and all the resources that you have available to make you even more successful than you already are growing your business in today's environment. And today's environment is very different than it was 6 weeks ago. Now, I want you to feel inspired. I want you to feel inspired to take action, to leverage all of the resources and the people that we have put together to help you succeed. Now, hunting in a virtual environment, let's look at these 3 simple steps that I talked about. Step 1, set yourself up to conduct sales virtually. Step 2, hunt for referrals. And step 3, hunt for virtual seminar attendees. And that's what we're going to cover in this presentation. So let's talk about step 1. Setting yourself up to conduct sales in a virtual environment. You must emulate a live experience as much as you possibly can. You have to duplicate that live experience so you can capitalize on the opportunities that are being put in front of you. And you have to prepare for the future. We all know this is the future and where things are going. And by being prepared to be able to embrace the technology and operate in a virtual environment, you're going to be best prepared to take advantage of referrals that you get all over the country, opportunities that otherwise you may have not pursued. So I want to play you a quick video of my business partner, Dave Allison, and good friend, and he's going to share with you because, see, many of you know Dave, and Dave has been running his practice in Palo Alto, California from Cleveland, Ohio for 2 years, very successfully, all virtually. So he was ahead of the curve. So we were able to take what he was doing, build it out into step-by-step e-learning modules, processes, and systems to help you do the same. So here's a quick video of Dave and a tutorial of some of the resources we put together.
C2P has been really hard at work putting together the virtual advisor platform for you to successfully be able to engage in virtual meetings with your clients. A couple of these resources started right over here. Your hub for all things C2P. As the virtual advisor, if you click on it over on the left-hand side, you can see here, you'll see just a listing of different resources. We have best practices on hosting virtual meetings, getting started right out of the box quickly, the equipment, the software, the hardware, the best practices on camera usage, communication best practices. We also have the bucket plan best interest process built out, how you should conduct meeting 1, meeting 2, and meeting 3.
Thanks, Dave. So step 1, 2, 3, what was Dave talking about? Dave's talking about the bucket plan. Basically, it's a 3-step process. And then step 4 is the service model we'll talk about here in a little bit. But what I want to share with you is what we learned in transitioning to operate in a virtual environment. It became very important to really unbundle some of the stuff that we had bundled together under tools. So what that means is in a virtual environment, we had to be much more strategic and step by step. So we had to really take apart the bucket plan process, put it back together to be able to operate in a virtual environment. So what it is step one is going to be the first appointment that has 4 tools and concepts that you're going to cover in that first appointment. Step 2 is the second appointment where there's 4 more tools and concepts that you're going to cover in that second appointment. And then in between the appointments, you're going to do your homework. You're going to use the design worksheet to design a customized bucket plan that you'll deliver with the delivery template to your prospect and close that business. So I said concepts and tools. What did I mean by concepts and tools? And this is one of the revelations we realized as we kind of took everything apart and put it back together again, is the learning journey that advisors go through. What they typically do is they embrace the concepts first. What's a concept? A concept is basically an idea. It's a way to think about something. It's a way to explain something to your prospect or client. So the first in the backbone concept is the philosophy of bucketing. Now listen, the philosophy of bucketing has been around a long time, long before C2P existed. But what we did is we simplified it into a 3-bucket approach, now, soon, and later, and we identified the other concepts and tools to turn it into a succinct process. So there's 2 more concepts. There's the money cycle, which is a simplified way to explain sequence of returns risk. It sets up the bucket plan philosophy. And then there's the pyramid of risk. The pyramid of risk is a concept of how you explain the different investment options and validate the recommendations you made within their customized bucket plan. What we're seeing is people typically embrace the concepts first. And then what they do is they start utilizing the tools that have been built around the concepts. So the tools are exercises or forms or documents that you're completing with your client or in preparation to meet with your client. That's the difference of concepts and tools. And what we've done is we've reconstructed it into a sequential process, step by step, with all 7 tools and the 3 concepts. And that's what you're seeing up on the screen. The orange is what you do in the first meeting. The blue is what you do in the second. The design worksheet in between, and then you deliver your customized bucket plan with the recommendations. So I want to play you a quick video of Carol. So Carol came through our bucket plan training just about 5-6 weeks ago. And listen to her story after she got back to her practice.
Hi, C2P family. Carol Vordarcelli here from Northern California. I just wanted to give a great big thank you to Jason, Dave, and all the C2P team for all their work behind the scenes, helping us techno folks become virtual. I went to the bucket plan training and was able to put together what I needed for meeting 1 of the bucket plan, and I was able to do it virtually with a prospect. I was able to show the money cycle video, share screens, complete forms online, and at the end, they decided to move forward with a $1,500 planning fee. So I'm very excited about the possibilities and potential going forward.
Thanks, Carol. Awesome story, right? Immediately after coming out. So what am I talking about? The bucket plan training, right? The bucket plan 1.0. It's a foundational tools training. So not only do we have online university e-learning courses that you're all familiar with, and we actually did break these into 2 courses now, introductory and then advanced for 1.0. And so many of you haven't taken those yet, but that's in preparation for the new virtual environment and the training that we've adopted, the bucket plan to be able to conduct the financial planning process virtually. And speaking of virtually, we don't have much of a choice now but to conduct the actual training virtually, just like you're conducting your client meetings virtually. But we've been able to nail it. We just had a successful one recently where we followed the same format. We teach the tool or the concept, and then we break you off into small 2 or 3 person breakouts where you practice using the tools just like you would with the client. It's called experiential learning, and then we all get back together again and we do a debrief discussion in a Q&A. And we do that over and over again over a 2-day period to reinforce the learning and the transfer of knowledge. It's how the adult mind learns, and we've been able to crack the code and do that in a virtual environment. So you should sign up if you haven't done so already, or if you haven't gone through since the last one, because it's changed pretty substantially to operate in a virtual environment, July 30th and 31st. When you complete that 2-day experiential learning, you'll have the opportunity to sit for a proctored examination and become bucket plan certified. And oh, by the way, you get 9 CE credits for CFP and life and health when you attend that 2-day live experiential training. So this is a designation up on the FINRA website, bucket plan certified. I want to switch gears now to 2.0. So many of you know already, 2.0 is an overlay training. It's another 2-day course that we offer, virtually of course as well. It's another 2-day course that's an overlay on top of the 1.0. The foundational 7 tools and 3 concepts that we teach in 1.0. We overlay how to charge planning fees and a multitude of additional best practices that you'll hear about here in a moment that are taught in 2.0, and we've had some innovations. You can see on the front of the screen, we've renamed the 3 steps. Step 1, 2, and 3, discover, design, and deliver. And dedicated, of course, is just reinforcing your dedication to your clients to continue to service and support them going forward. On the back side, you can see where we've revamped how we're going about the algorithm or the formula to charge planning fees. We've been testing this for over 6 months in multiple offices, and we've seen a substantial increase in the amount of planning fees that are being charged by the advisors that are running this new formula on how to charge planning fees. And we'll teach that in the 2.0. Some of the innovations is we've created client agendas. So we're emailing these out to the client, suggesting them to print it out to take notes and follow along in the process as they're sitting with you for step 1, 2, and 3, and even step 4, the annual review. We've also created upfront agreement scripts. So this came out of the Sandler sales model methodology of creating an upfront contract. What the upfront contract does is, because if you think about it, there's really 2 closes if you're charging planning fees, which is a huge part of what we teach in the 2.0 overlay training. So if you're going to be charging planning fees, there's 2 closes. You have to close on charging the planning fee, and then you have to close again on moving the assets. And so by having an upfront agreement, it fights through a lot of smoke screens, a lot of think it overs by incorporating that. And of course, we have scripts and training on that. And then a checklist for each step. And this is the most important thing right now, because in a virtual environment, it's very important to be very sequential, as I talked about before. So this is a checklist of when to talk about what concepts, what tools, and what to say in a sequential order. It's kind of like baking a cake, right? You can't skip steps. You can't do it out of order. Otherwise, you're not going to end up with a good result. Now, I've never baked a cake before, but that's what I hear. Setting up a virtual workstation, I'm going to bring back Dave again to do a quick little example of what his virtual workstation looks like. Looks very similar to my virtual workstation and many others who have embraced operating in a virtual environment. Let's see what Dave has to say.
Dave Allison here, looking forward to hosting a prospect Step 1 discovery meeting tonight virtually. We did a webinar. We attracted some prospects through Facebook ads and did our 20-minute right fit call. This individual has a net worth of about $6 million. So we got the whole setup that we teach at Clarity to Prosperity with the virtual advisor. Got my desk here, my camera, computer screen, computer running the meeting, have my tablet right here, created a little welcome screen with the client's names. Of course, I've got my step one discovery checklist. I've got my connection questionnaire, and I've got all of my documents ready to go. We got the 4-step process here, money cycle, the bucket plan, the family succession plan as part of the family estate organizer, a sample client plan to show them, and then of course the welcome screen. Over here, I've got the family estate organizers. We've got my bucket plan books ready to go. So we are locked and loaded, continuing to run the virtual advisor.
Awesome. Thank you, Dave, for that. So one of the things you may have noticed in that video just now, two things I want to point out. One is he had the fact finder, which we call the connection questionnaire, because it's all about connecting, printed out in front of him. The other thing he had printed out in front of him was the checklist, right, that I talked about before, printed out in front of him. So important, those two things. Now, he also referenced the second thing is right fit client calls. What the heck are these? So right fit client calls are very important in a virtual environment, we found from experience. Some early failures led us to understand the importance of making sure these are built into the process. And of course, this is one of the things we're teaching in 2.0. So this is a process. It's an e-learning module and scripts and everything else. But why do right fit client calls? And what are they? Right fit client calls are a 20-minute call to keep the momentum going after you've gotten the referral or met the client or they've attended a virtual seminar. You're doing a quick 20-minute call to understand what resources they have, if they're a good fit for your firm. You're basically pre-qualifying them. And you're keeping the momentum going forward, making a connection, and not clogging up your calendar with people that are not going to be a good fit for your firm. So it's a way to pare that down and keep that momentum going forward, because a lot of clients in this virtual environment, they're hesitant about coming into your office, and they're hesitant about the technology of doing a virtual meeting. So if you get on a quick phone call, it's the path of least resistance. And it's a quick 20-minute call. We have everything scripted out, as I mentioned, into e-learning modules as well. The Bucket Plan 2.0, for those of you who have mastered 1.0, you have the foundational concepts and tools down, and you're ready to attend 2.0. These are the dates, August 12th and 13th. We'll be doing that. It's another 2-day live experiential training. You'll take the e-learning modules before the training, and then you'll sit through the 2-day live training where we'll teach a concept, break you off in twos, role play, and then come back together for debrief questions. All right, let's move and switch gears to step 2, which is hunting for referrals in a virtual environment, right? So now we're going to hunt for referrals. And so the first thing I want to do is talk to you about things you already know. Listen, we all know that we all need to do a better job of asking for referrals, and we've told ourselves that for years. But there's no better time to embrace a referral process than right now. Right now's the time because it's free. It's completely free, and it's a way that you can grow your business. And I'm going to share with you 2 tools and resources of how you can do that we've made available to you. So one is a referral campaign, and I'm going to start out by just showing you the results because we just last week finished this referral campaign, although we're following up with referral calls that I'll talk about in a moment. But we just finished up this Weathering the Storm referral campaign to our existing clients and loved ones. So I want to share with you the results of this campaign. So Weathering the Storm is the name of the campaign. Have a whole process we'll talk about in a moment for that. So for referrals, here's our results. We got 38 referrals registered, loved ones of our clients. 25 of them showed up, and out of those 25, once we did fit calls, we got it down to 7 first appointments that qualified to go into a step 1 first appointment meeting with our firm. Now, what about the clients that attended? So for clients, we had 111 register. And out of those 111, 94 showed up for the entire virtual seminar. And then we've been calling back up over the last couple weeks for the people that attended, the clients that attended, and we've been asking for referrals. And so far, we've gotten 6 referrals. So that's a total of 44 referrals because of this campaign, completely free. Primarily all email is how it's driven. We did some voice recording, voice broadcasts as well. But ultimately, this is completely free, hitting the easy button. All we did is follow the process C2P developed step by step. 44 referrals. Think about what 44 referrals would do for your business. Now, the Weathering the Storm campaign that I discussed, it is a virtual seminar that we've created to reinforce the planning that you've done. You can modify this to your practice, but that seminar is ready to go, plug and play, and we have an entire advisor's guide process. Now, I'm not going to go through this in detail, but literally all the timelines are there. The phone calls, the emails, the text message, the voicemail drops, which I called voice broadcasting, all the technology and resources that you're going to want to utilize or potentially going to want to utilize. You can see the scripts and the email scripts and what to do all the way leading up to, right before, 4 hours before, 15 minutes before, voicemail best practices, text best practices. It's everything you need. It's an entire campaign, step by step, to go after your existing clients and their loved ones. And we have a referral process, the godfather of referrals. Now, he's the godfather of another family. Everybody knows in the C2P family, John Del Greco is our godfather of referrals. But the difference of Bill Cates is Bill Cates' process is how to go after your existing clients with a VIPS referral method. And it's very powerful. So we've done a podcast with Bill. We've done a training webinar in detail. E-learning modules are available. He's on our mentoring portal and available as a mentor, Bill Cates. So step 3. What we want to talk about now in switching gears is hunting for virtual seminar attendees. So this is going after and marketing and selling in a virtual environment. And listen, there's 2 categories of those of you out there. There's one category that you've done seminars for years, right? You can do this in your sleep, but you might be a little bit hesitant right now because of the technology. Don't be. You stand in front of your computer like I am now and you look right in the screen and you just tell the same stories and be yourself and just do what you do in a live environment virtually. It's that easy. You don't need to be fearful of it. Now, there's another group of you that maybe you haven't done a lot of public speaking before, right? That's not how you've grown your business up to this point. Now's the time to take action because you don't have to stand in front of a crowd. You don't have to publicly speak. You just stand in front of a computer and talk to a screen. It never could be easier for you to break the ice and embrace the environment of growing your business virtually through virtual seminars. I want to play a quick video here, a very quick video of Tony Ingracia. Just recently did his first virtual seminar following our step-by-step process.
So my name is Tony Ingracia. I did my first webinar. Kind of giving a webinar is like giving a haircut over the phone. But we were able to establish 18 appointments. And all I used was the steps that C2P had. Not reinventing the wheel. I'm just following the guidelines and just doing what works.
Giving a haircut over the phone. I don't know what that means, Tony, but I love it. So I wanted to keep it in the video. So I'm going to give you an example of the JL Smith Group. I'm going to give you an example of my practice and what we've done so far. Now, man, I tell you what, I was very hesitant of sharing these numbers because they were real ugly early on. The first 6 or 7 virtual seminars that we did were bad. We just jumped out of the gate and started spending money. We didn't even have the PowerPoint developed yet. We just were like, we got to do it right away, right? I'm a quick start. And so we jumped out and did it right away. We've learned from all those mistakes. We've corrected our mistakes, and now we're doing a lot better. But all progress starts with the truth. So I'm going to share with you the results, cumulative, of all the seminars that we've done so far. So 6 weeks, we've been doing this 6 weeks since April 16th. And our seminars, we've done 12 of them. Now we've done like Medicare and Social Security and holistic planning and different seminars we should have never done. And I'm going to talk to you about that in a moment of what we've learned in the seminars you should be doing. But we've done a total of 12. 12 since April 16th. We have had 267 registrations. And out of that, we had 174 show up and attend the virtual seminar. And out of those 174, we had 45 right fit client calls. So that means they got on a call for 20 minutes. They told us about how much money they have and what their situation was. We make sure they click. And out of those 45, we invited 21 for a step one engagement, and they agreed. They agreed to go into the step one of the planning process. So those are our numbers. We spent $21,000. Now you might be saying, wow, that's a lot of money, right? That's $1,000 per appointment. But what I want to ask you is if you did a virtual seminar, they saw you, they heard you, they know about you and what your firm does. And then you did a right fit client call to disqualify all the broke people, the people that don't fit for your firm, and the people you're not connecting with. And then from there, out of those people, you had 21 people that agreed to go to the third step and agree to a step one first appointment. How many would you close? How many of those 21 would end up becoming clients of your firm? Out of those 21, out of that number, whatever your closing ratio is, do you think you'd be able to sell a $350,000 annuity? Do you think you'd be able to do that to recoup the $21,000 that you spent in marketing costs? That's the question you have to ask yourself. These numbers are going to continue to get better and better. So what seminars are working? What's on everybody's mind? COVID-19. Well, until the riots, right? But still, COVID-19 is on everybody's mind. So you have to capitalize on that. It's all over the media. So COVID-19 is spurring a lot of conversations about, oh my gosh, the debt that we're going into. What's that going to create? So COVID-19, estate planning, death, and debt are what are on people's minds. Right or wrong, that's the truth of the matter. So estate planning, virtual seminars are through the roof. Our numbers that we're drawing are through the roof for estate planning virtual seminars and for taxes and retirement. So that's all we're going to do right now going forward. Now, we have a couple great ones that were working before and will work again that are on the back burner, and we'll share those with you in a moment. But Brian Bibbo just did a taxes and retirement, and I want to share with you a quick video of what happened after he did that taxes and retirement 2 weeks ago.
Virtual seminar that I performed about 2 weeks ago. So there was a prospect in attendance, and he went to the golf course. He was telling one of his friends about it, and he actually sold him on the $995 planning fee that we offered through that workshop. And guess what? That guy came in as a referral from someone who had booked an appointment, hadn't even seen me yet. The guy ended up having about $2.9 million, the guy that was referred to me. And again, it pretty much sold itself. The guy that attended the seminar ended up selling his buddy on the golf course. Can't get better than that. And as you know, everyone, it's a beautiful thing. Stay well.
It's a beautiful thing. Thank you, Brian. So the additional are Woman's Worth and Social Security, fantastic programs and seminars. So hunting in a virtual environment. Set yourself up to conduct sales virtually. Step 2, hunt for referrals and hunt for virtual seminar attendees. You don't have to do this alone. We will hold your hand every step of the way. through the technology, through all the different things that you want to do to embrace these things, we have a team available. They'll role play with you. They'll walk you through how to set up your first virtual seminar, how to do the referral process, everything. It's there. All the people are there to help you every step of the way. Now imagine yourself confident to conduct sales virtually, 44 referrals, 21 pre-qualified first appointments. They've gone through fit calls. You know they have money. Your calendar's full. Imagine if this was you and you have a $2.9 million client who was sold a $995 planning fee on the golf course by another prospect, not a client, from a virtual seminar that you just conducted. Imagine yourself even more confident and successful than you are today in just 6 weeks from now, operating, hunting, doing virtual sales and virtual marketing. Let's have a great day.